Yeah, so good evening, everyone. We'll start the session now. Nalini, shall we start the session?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah, I will start. Yeah, good evening. Like this is like week 2 session. So you can ask your doubts, any doubts from activity questions or practice assignment questions. Already we have done recap of week 2 contents in the previous session. So now this is like kind of doubt clearing session. Like if you have any doubts regarding the contents or regarding any questions, you can ask. If not, I will start like activity questions. Yeah, we'll answer those questions one by one. If anyone has particular doubt, you can ask. Yeah.
Can you please explain that that copy function when we are copying the copy constructor part?
Okay, you wanted copy constructor thing, no?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a minute. Just give me a second. Okay.
Nalini, are you speaking something? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, ma'am. I thought I will. I am
No, I think you will have to
yeah.
explain from the beginning, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So copy constructors are like we can create a new object from existing one. So here we can see that here this is the class date is a class, and here this is like use date. Here we have the main function, so our program execution will start from here. Here we can see like two objects of date. They are d1 and d2. D1 and d2 are two objects of date, and here we are what creating object. That means these are two object variables. D1 and D2 are two object variables, but here D1 equal to new date of something, this calling constructor. That means we are creating object of date, that is D1. So new date of, that means this constructor will be called, three argument constructor will be called. Here we have three arguments, so this constructor will be called as we are passing three arguments. So day is assigned to D. That means it will become 12 for D1, and month will be 4 for D1, and year will be 1954 for D1. And we are creating the new object of date D2 by using D1. So we are calling this constructor here because we are passing date as our argument. No, here one argument constructor, and here the argument that is taking is date type. So this is like we can create the new object from existing object. That means we are creating the d2 by using d1 object. Here we are setting this object, that is like d2 dot day equal to, we are saying d2 dot day equal to, this dot day means d2 dot day equal to d dot day1. D1 is d is nothing but our d1. So whatever values that D1 day has, that will be assigned to D2 dot day. Similarly for month and year also, whatever value like D1 is holding for month, that will be assigned to D2 month. Same for year also. That means we are creating the new object by using the existing object. Here we are not passing any arguments, like 12, 5 something. We are not calling this 3 argument constructor. Instead we are calling 1 argument constructor and we are passing the type date. So we are using this D1 to create to instantiate our this current object D2. That means we can create new object from an existing one. That is the use of this copy constructor. This is the use of copy constructor. Okay.
Okay, but in the first one, in the first constructor, that public date, you have 3 arguments int d y.
Yes.
You have not written this dot day is equal to d.
Yeah, this is not always required. You can write also. This is like previously Danya ma'am also explained like why we are not using. So this makes more sense if our parameters are like int day, int month instead of m if we have month, instead of year if we have, instead of y if we have year. Then this will make a lot of sense. This dot day refers to like D2 dot day, like D1 dot day.
So I'm just asking, in the first constructor you have not written, but in the second constructor
this is optional. This is optional. We can either use or we cannot use. This is optional, but if you are whatever arguments you are passing these arguments, and if the instance variables have same name, then you should use this. That means in order to avoid the confusion, we are telling like this dot day refers to this object's day. This is kind of self in Python.
Okay, clear. And one more thing, in the argument part, instead of variable, if I say in the year, instead of just one variable, I want to pass some array. In that case, how do you initialize inside it?
So there are like you can do it by, so instead of here int y, if you have some array, you are telling no, if you have some array int array of y, right? So you can simply say year equal to y. That means this I think in year equal to y, that means what happens is year and y will be referring to same memory. You are not creating new, so this int array is of type object. No, here you are not creating new object. Instead you are whatever object which y is already there, no, you are what, this is kind of alias of this y. Year is alias of y. That means year and y we are referring by same memory. Say we are using same memory, but instead that means instead if you want to do it like instead if you want different objects for year and for y, what you can do is like you can use for loop, and you can assign each and every element of your year to, okay, let's take year is an array of n size n. If it is an array of size n, let's take, if it is, let's assume I am keeping just there itself. So if year is array of size n, so you can use some for loop like for int I equal to 0 to I less than, you can iterate over the length of your array, and you can say year of 0 equal to y of 0, year of I equal to y of I, something like that. Okay, you can assign, you can copy. That means,
excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
This here y is an int, right? That's one number.
Yeah, that's one number, but he previously has asked the case of array. That's why I'm telling.
Okay.
Okay.
So in this case, even the D2 would also refer to the same location as that reference only would be stored in the
this
D2.
Whatever I told, this does not applies to what primitive data types, scalar data types like int, float, like integer we have byte, long, also, no? Similarly,
Okay.
float and double, but string and arrays are objects. So this will apply to objects, but not primitive data type scalars. Okay.
Okay. I mean, this for loop type of thing that you're saying, right? That
Yeah.
will not apply. My question is that, the D2 dot date and D1 dot date, it will be the same. And this D2 will also refer to the same memory location as that of D1. Am I right?
No, because here D1 equal to new, you are not saying directly, you are not saying D2 equal to D1, you are not saying, you are saying D2 equal to new date of D1. That means you are creating new object. Whenever you see new, that means you are creating new object. If you say simply D2 equal to D1, then both D1 and D2 are referring to same memory location.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inside constructor, can I use the for loop to assign or initialize?
Yeah, you can use for loop also to what in the constructor to assign the values. That is allowed. So that means you can iterate over the year or y array length, over this length of y array. If you are asking, you ask no the case of array. So I'm talking about that. So you can iterate over the length of the array, and you can assign each and every element of the array to this of y, each and every element of y to each and every element of year array. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So Nalini, I'll just add one point here. See, the only thing that differentiate between the shallow copy is deep copy is when objects are involved. Okay, whether it be an array, whether it be any object of any class type, like any non-scalar or non-primitive type of data is involved. What happens is whenever you create an object, when you just put D2 equal to D1, all it does is it copies a reference. I think I showed you earlier also, like even inside the stack, what it stores is the location, so that both will point to the same value. Sorry, same memory location. What both points to is some address, which is the starting point of the array. So basically, you are not copying the content of the array. Instead, you are only copying the reference of the array or the object. Here, the object is the date object. Now, when you put D2 equal to new date, right, it is creating a totally new memory location. And it's saying that, okay, D2 is now pointing to this. And what should it contain? It should contain a new data object, which has the same values as D1. And how do we ensure that it contains the same values as D1? That is what is ensured by the second constructor. See, public date, date D, right? It is actually taking in another date object, and it is assigning one value after the other and saying that, okay, in these new memory locations, the value from the day, month, and year of D1 has to be copied into D2. That is what is happening in the. So when you say deep copy, what it does is, see, if you had just given D2 equal to D1 and you make a change in D1, it reflects in D2 also, right? That's not what we want. We want this to be a separate, different object. Then we have to do a deep copy, ensuring that all the nested or all the objects that are coming inside, as you said, like if it is an array, then further down inside the constructor, you have to have some way in which the array values are copied one after the other, rather than the array. Now the array reference is pointing to the same thing. You should ensure that the array, every value in the array has to be copied to the second object's array member, array instance variable. Okay, so everywhere there is an object involved, you have to do a deep copying to ensure that whatever changes you do to the one from which you got the values is changed, it does not reflect in the other one, because you want the new one to remain as a new one without being changed, without changing anything. Okay, so basically this applies only to the case of objects, arrays, and everything. Basic data types, shallow copying and deep copying will serve the same purpose. Yeah, Nalini, you can continue.
Yeah, thanks, ma'am. Yeah.
Ma'am, just to clarify what Danya ma'am said, now in this case, if the year is an, like a array or a set of string, then we should do deep copying using the for loop or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So what happens if you don't do that? Then the array objects of inside the data object, there is an array object. both of
Okay.
which will point to the same location.
Same
So
location.
this
Okay.
dot, yeah, this dot day, this dot month, this dot year, everything will get copied. But for array, it will both again point to the same memory location, right?
Okay.
So whatever changes happen in the case of D1's array, it will happen in the case of D2 array also. We don't want that. So deep copying means going to the last level, right? Instead of array, if you had some other object which had an array, suppose. So, I mean, you have to go, the constructor has to ensure that it goes to that depth so that it gets copied, and this does not reflect as a shallow copy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, Nalini.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So any other doubts? Yeah, any
Yes,
other?
ma'am. I have a follow-up question.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right. So let's say that I am passing on an array to a constructor, and there is a. Could we just do an example on a whiteboard or on a blank screen?
Yeah, okay, sure, definitely.
So let's say I am calling a. I'm going to share a method call. Can I put it in the chat?
Yeah.
So I have an array of string array of 3
Okay.
student names.
Okay.
How, and I'm passing it in this way, right? I don't need to. I just say students. When I call the function, I don't need to mention it's an array, right? Just the variable name. How do I develop the constructor for this function? How do I
Okay,
receive it?
okay, you want constructor to initialize the students array. That's what you are telling.
Add birthday constructor just for that function. So let's say I have a method add birthday.
Okay.
So I would have an int day, int month, and then what would I put after that?
Actually, I didn't get what. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
What
going
you're
to
trying to explain. Yeah. Yeah, can you tell this whatever you are thinking in the terms of classes and objects, not in the terms of some variables and functions?
Right. So in the class, I have a class called birthdays. In that, there's
Okay.
a method called add birthday.
Okay.
Add birthday for a day and a month. It will add the names of all the students whose birthdays are there on that day and month.
Okay. Okay. Now add birthday is method of your birthday class. Does it
Right.
include students in your the student see whether
Yes,
there is
yes. In the class there is. All the 3 variables are defined there. In the class, there is an array. How
there
do
is
I?
an array of students in your class.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now what's your doubt?
So how do I now? What do I put in the constructor of add birthday? Do I just write a variable
Yeah,
name?
constructor
Or,
is a method, no? It doesn't
right.
have, yeah, see,
Do I
add
have to
birthday
write
is a
it as an
method.
array?
Add birthday is a method, so it won't have constructor. So whatever you are telling, like in now your instance variables of your class birthday are day, month, and student array, right? You will have constructor only to initialize those instance variable day, month, and student array. Now your doubt is like, how can you, yeah, what is
How
your
will I
doubt?
receive the all? How do I receive all the values? Because when I'm doing a code similar to one of the assignments,
Okay, I will write what you are trying to say, then I think it will be more clear. Just
so this is based on graded assignment 3, GPA 3, where you have to make a copy of that.
yeah, ma'am, can I discuss this? Or
Yeah, so we don't have to discuss graded assignment, but what
Not the
he's
assignment,
yeah,
asking
the
is,
yeah, got it, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, so what he's asking, like inside the constructor of birthday class, right? We have to call the constructor of student class possibly. I
Right.
think that is what he's referring to. I'm not able to clearly understand. Maybe once we start writing, we'll
Okay,
understand.
let's put it on screen.
So class, we have class
Now, is
birthday.
it possible to use Replit for sessions?
Yeah, sure. Should I open that?
That's okay. I don't have it in Replit today. I'll copy it from my Python to Replit from next session.
Yeah, I
Replit
can
is-
do it in Replit if you want in Replit. Okay. Okay, I will do in Replit. I think it will be better for everyone
Right. And it
instead
can be
of
shared
writing.
on.
Yeah,
Right.
just a minute.
Thank you.
Okay, now you have class birthday, right? And in that you are I'm sharing, no? Am I sharing?
Yes, yes, Nalini, yes.
Yeah, okay, thanks, ma'am.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
today and month, and you have list of students, no?
Right.
Okay.
So I called
Students
him sir.
array. Okay.
Right.
Students array of
String.
students array. Okay, I am giving some name to student names.
I called it birthdays, B-days. Okay, names is also okay. Fine.
Okay. Now see, student cannot be resolved to a type. So what you
I
have to
was
do
using
is,
string. I was using string, man.
okay, you are using some string. Okay, then it will be fine. Okay, now it has not updated, but still. Now this is constructor. It has same name as your class name, and the
Right.
arguments it will take is like int day. I'm using same day,
Okay.
int month, and it is using string array of names. Let's take the same thing only.
So again, I have to define it as an array then, the new name.
Yeah, the type of this names is like array only, no? So you have to pass array only to initialize an array, right? So this
Okay.
dot day equal to something day, I'm saying this day. Okay, yeah. This is our constructor. So this okay, if I do
This is
this
enough.
thing, what happens is, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let me finish this then. Okay, I will show with an example what happens, what is meant by shallow copy and deep copy. New birthday of day is like 12, month is like 5, and it has some string array of names, no? Okay, all the
Yes.
some random names I'm giving. Okay, okay, I'm using just 3 names. It's an array of 3 names. Okay, yeah. Now if I say b1 dot, okay, you want copy constructor also, no?
Yes. Initially, yes.
Okay, what I will do is like, Okay. Yeah. Oh. So I'm creating another object B2 using B1.
Okay.
New. Okay. Okay. Now I'm printing some values. Okay. So I will print just day and month of both B1 and day and some B1 dot day plus space plus I'm saying B1 dot names of 0. That means I'm printing first element of your array name. Similarly, I
Right.
will do for B2. Okay, let me run this code. Yeah, is this what you wanted to do? Or if, yeah, I think you can
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
me.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So now whatever values now I gave for B1 12 as day, and
right.
for name 0th index name is like Sonu. Yeah, that is name. So I'm printing for B1 and B2. Both are same, right? Here both are same. So now what I will do is like I will do not here. I'll do B2 dot names of 0 equal to some okay, I will use some value like anything like Ramya or anything. Okay. Now,
And only we can change the B2 dot day also, right? So that just to
yeah,
show that,
yes,
that
ma'am.
there's
Yeah,
some
yes,
change.
ma'am. Yeah. B2 dot, I will say B2 dot day equal to, I will change it to 16. Okay. Okay. Then, so what you can see is like I'm printing B1 dot day and B1 dot what name like first element of your array, that is Sono. It should be Sono, right? For B1 we have changed only to B2, like B2 dot you have changed this element for B2, first element of your array for only for B2. But what you are seeing is now this is getting reflected in both B1 and B2. But day, this day, no, day thing we have changed for only for B2. That is happening same what we according to like the way we wanted. Only for the B2 it is 16 and for B1 it is 12, whatever we gave here. So why this is happening, we have already explained. No, I have already explained this thing. No, so because as a day and this int day and month are of type integers, so int is like primitive type. So whatever this like, so this thing kind of what deep copying will happen here, shallow copying or deep copy, it doesn't matter, but it will happen like okay, if we change for one object it won't be reflected in other object. So that is
Okay.
like for in primitive types, but here we are using string array type, that is like it is an object type. So whatever which here we are directly saying this dot names, that is we are assigning this array name, this is like names only. No, this is an array of strings, we are assigning this object to directly to this b to our new object. We are saying b dot the current object to, we are assigning this b object names to this directly our object b, like b2 object here. And so as this is an object, so what we are doing is we are saying we are pointing to the same memory for both b, in the case of b1 and b2 we are pointing to the same memory for this names here. for the names instance variable, we are pointing to same memory in case of B1 and B2. That's why this is happening. So whatever changes we make in either B1 or B2, that will be reflected in both B1 and B2. So in order to avoid that, what we can do is like we can do kind of in order to avoid that, one way is to, like previously ma'am also tell, no, we should assign each and every element as this an array length function you should use.
This is to manually copy the values.
Yeah, this is like we are saying, okay, copy first element of this object to first element of our object. So copy first element of a B1 object to first element of B2 object, that we are saying by doing this. So what we can say is like,
now I'm trying something similar on right now. On the portal, I'm getting an error. It says that actual and formal argument lists differ in length. Is this a common error? Something that I'm doing wrong?
No, I will show you. No, you can see this. Yes.
Shouldn't be using this dot names dot length, madam.
Yeah, that is like kind of okay. Here. Okay, you wanted this dot, no? Yeah, that is like kind of no problem, but it's kind of repetition, because here in our argument there is like no name, no, here like no, where here we can see like our argument has variable with the name. So in order to distinguish this current object with this name, the parameter, we have specified this. Here there is no such confusion, so we can avoid that, but it is like optional. You can use like yeah, if you wanted to use, you can use that.
B dot names dot length or this dot names? Because this is not yet initialized, right?
Sorry.
I'm passing B. It will be B dot length, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything you can use. The see, actually our B also is birthday type only, no, it will have names names.
Nalini, what Puneet is asking is like this dot names array is still not initialized.
No value, yeah, there's no value.
Yeah, got it.
So we should have b dot names dot length is what you're saying.
Yeah, B dot names dot length. Okay.
Ma'am, why we use multiple constructor?
Sorry.
Why we use multiple constructor?
Yeah, you.
Explain it with examples.
Yeah, I will explain this. Just a minute, okay? This. Yeah, hold on. Like I will explain. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So exception cannot store object array because this dot names is null. Okay, just.
Ma'am, this string name, should we
Yeah.
names dot length as a function instead of names dot length?
Yeah, but this is of type array, no? Names is of type string array. So in the array, the function, like in order to find the length, there is like variable. It is like variable only. So you need to use dot length only. It is variable, not method for arrays, but for string it is method. So you need to use parenthesis for strings, but it's an array of type strings. So yeah, length function should work. But why this is giving an exception? Just
I'm getting a similar error saying that there's a size mismatch. It is not able to assign.
Can you just scroll down? Can we just check? I think this pointing to line number 13, which is where we are standing, but just 1 second. Dot names is 0. Does anyone want to help out? Like, has anyone tried the assignment question? Does anyone
Ma'am,
want to?
I just declared it, like, I initialized it like this dot names equal to new string or new array.
New array, is it? You
Yeah,
declared it as a
of
new array.
length b dot names dot length.
Okay.
So this dot names array, you have initialized that names array.
Yeah, we have to
Before
declare
the
a new
for loop.
array, I think. Yeah. That's
Oh,
Before
okay.
the for loop,
Let me try
madam.
that. I'll try that.
Before the for loop.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this dot names array, we are just initializing it to, okay, we can initialize it to, so whatever length of b array has, new string array of b dot names dot length. Okay. Yeah, this has happened many times. Okay, yeah, this happened because we have not initialized what this names array in our current object. For this current object like b2, we have not initialized the names. Without initializing, we are assigning it to some value. So here we are assigning it to like whatever value b1 has. Yeah, but we have not initialized that, so we are doing without initializing, so we got null pointer exception. So in order to avoid that, we should initialize what this array, and then we can assign it to some value.
Okay, I think I have the same problem. So whoever gave this suggestion, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So
Okay.
same thing applies for objects also. We have to create an object and then assign it, right? I mean, otherwise, so when you're creating an object, you are indirectly invoking the constructor of that object. So for instance, instead of an array, if you had another student as an instance variable inside, right? Instead of string names, if you had a student variable, like local instance variable, then you have to create an object of student and then assign these values. Because we did not have, we did not have it pointing to any memory location. It's I keep there.
So one more quick question. So in the loop, is there no way to add an element instead of specifying the length in the beginning? Like we add an element like we do in Python.
Yeah, you can do that. So this is
possible, right?
Yeah, it's possible. This is
okay, ma'am, not relevant for today. So we will search.
Yeah, this is like from week 2 only.
Okay.
From b dot names.
Right.
From b dot names, I can say. Oh, but there is no I here, no?
Yeah, you can actually have it as a variable.
It's a counter.
Yeah, you can initialize it also.
What about there's no names dot add an element?
So if you declare it as an array class, object as such, right? ARRAY, right? I think that's when you can use dot. So let me see. Let me check this. Please 1 second. Nalini, do you know whether we can use dot add?
No, ma'am. I don't know. Like not dot add method from this for arrays.
So if you have it, there is a class called array list, right? If you use that, then you can use it. Otherwise, you can't. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for indulging. So nice of you.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other doubts regarding this concept?
So is there anyone who has not understood this shallow copying and deep copying? Like what exactly was the problem to start off with? Is that clear for everyone? And then what did we do to circumvent it? Is it clear for everyone? Is there anyone who has not understood? Like, why did we get 12 Ramya and 16 Ramya earlier? And now we are getting 12 Sonu and 16 Ramya now. So this is important because I think some of the assignment questions you will require to understand this, the programming questions or even otherwise.
So this
Okay.
part is clear, ma'am. But before this for loop, we need to find this dot name equal to new string. What is the length of the string that we need to assign here? This part, can you just explain one more?
Okay, this one, no, this line. Is this line you are talking about? False line?
Yes.
Yeah, because so whatever now b dot names, now the current what this b1, no, birthday b1, it has names, right? B1 object also has instance variable day, month, and names. For names, it is an array of strings. So array of strings is of length 3. No, length 3 only, right? Array of strings for this names for this b1 is of length 3. So for b2 we are creating b2 from b1. So the name's length for b2 must be the same as the name's length for b1. So what we are doing is like we are telling, so for this object for b2, names equal to, we are initially instantiating our this names object. This is an object because it is a string array. So we are instantiating it by saying it is a new string array of length b dot names dot length. So the length of this b1 and b2 must be same. So for that purpose only I'm setting it to b dot names dot length. So here b represents b1 because we are passing b1 as parameter, no?
No, that is correct. Oh,
Yeah.
before we changing the each value, I have to declare with my new and the old one, the length is same. This thing I need to declare.
Yeah, yes. You should not, you are saying, okay, this is an array of strings. Okay, I won't do this. I will just comment it out. And I will, okay. Now I will print. Now I will just print. Okay, it has stored that value, previous value only.
I think it's actually showing the earlier value. I don't think it's showing this one. So what exactly was your question? I think I am not very clear. Samit, right? Samit, you're asking the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samit, can you ask the question again? It's not very clear to me.
Since for this deep copying, because I want to not only refer where the array is, I want to change, means copying each value of that array to this new object.
That's correct. Yes.
My question is, to do that, why do we need the line 12 to declare in the new object I am copying the value from a old object which is having a length of 3 or 5, whatever. Why?
Okay, so what you're asking is, why do you need this new string at all? Is it?
Yes. Why do I?
See, yeah, this difference between primitive data type and these object types, right? The whatever we are declaring in Java, the memory is allocated for primitive data types as soon as you declare the memory is allocated. Okay. I mean, when the class is instantiated, the moment the class is instantiated, right, the memory is allocated. Whereas in the case of objects, unless you use this new, right, where you're specifically saying, okay, create an object and allocate memory is not allocated. So when you're referring to this dot names, there is no memory allocated for this variable. It just says this name stand for some string array. That's it. There is no memory allocated. It doesn't know where to store the values. That's why it gave the null pointer exception, because basically when you are not allocating something, the address, the memory reference, that actually contains this null value only. And that's why it gave a null pointer exception.
Okay. Now instead of b.names.length, because b.names.length will give you the length of the old array, right? So correct. Instead of giving that, if I give a bigger size array, my new object, if I have instead of 3, if I put string of 5, what kind of it will fetch an error or it will run?
Yeah, it won't give error, but it will, the like first 3 values will be same as whatever we give, and the other values will be null, null, null. Like last 2 values will be null.
Null. But
Yeah.
if I print up to 3, then I don't find any change, right? I don't feel
Yeah.
any.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Clear. Okay. Got it.
So Nalini, what happens if we don't give the length at all? Will it still compile? We simply give new string.
Okay,
We have to give
just,
the length. No? I'm not sure.
yeah, it is giving error. It's a variable must provide
Dimension
either
should be given.
dimension.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, got it. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So is this concept clear for everyone? Like this deep copying, why is it required and what did we do? Like, does anyone have any questions on that? Because this is something that you will need to answer the questions. I think even the objective type questions or even some of the programming questions, I think this will be required. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think there are no issues. I think
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, any other doubts from week 2?
And why need for multiple constructor?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, so yeah, you can. The
Ma'am,
thing
in Python we use only one constructor. Constructor,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Only one constructor.
But
here
here
the
we
thing,
use multiples.
yeah, constructor overloading is it because it gives you an extra feature. No, you can create an object. So if I say, okay, this is like little bit so yeah, here what it is doing it here, it is giving you an extra
Ma'am, can
feature.
you
No,
give examples?
yeah, that's what I will share. A previous example only I'm sharing, showing. So now this class birthday is there. No, now you can create an object. Okay, let us say if you have only first constructor, then how can you create an object of this birthday? Only by using this constructor. So you need to always call, like you need to always say new birthday of some. You need to give 3 parameters, like all the parameters should match, like first should be integer and first 2 should be integer and the third one should be string array. But okay, now you have this extra constructor. Now this enables you to create an object from the existing one. No, from existing one. Here you are not required to pass the same arguments again, right? So you can just simply say dot of b1. So it is giving an extra feature for you to create. Similarly, if you can have 2 argument constructor also, this also this gives you an extra feature. That's all. Yeah, let me check also, like I'm also not sure like why this extra feature is necessary, but it is like
Yeah, Nalini, so I can give some inputs. See, certain cases, you may want to restrict access to certain fields, right? So in such cases, you can have 2 different type of constructors. If, for instance, you have something like user ID and password, and you don't want somebody to be able to initialize or reset the password or something. So you just give access to this constructor. See, you should look at something like a big software, okay? Something like a software which involves like, thousands and lakhs of lines of code. In that case, you want to give you want to limit a certain access to a particular programmer. In that case, these constructors will be useful. In certain other cases, say for instance, you want to replicate, say for instance, there are 100 employees in a department, all of them, the department ID is the same, right? So you can just use one constructor wherein you just copy the this thing, and you only have to update them. Say employee name and department ID is the two data in the employee class. In that case, you don't have to copy the department ID for everyone. You just have to copy so you can give specialized constructors which will access only one of the instance variables which are inside the data. So different constructors, like you don't have to initialize all the values in certain cases, or you want to copy the constructor like from another object of this thing, you want to create a copy, right? In this case, you have seen, no? You first created a copy of you first created a copy of B1 into B2 and then updated B2. So B2, you updated only 2 values. The rest will be what B1 had. So in such cases where you just want to have the same department ID for all the employees, you just want to change the name, you can just copy this constructor and just edit the name. So different types of constructors will actually give you that flexibility, customizing based on what either at a programmer access level or even when you have to do these multiple copying cases.
It means we can use a subset of attribute of the class.
Yes, your constructor doesn't have to initialize everything. See, for instance, if you say that the day has been initialized with 0, by default, it will assign the day as 0. That's it. For one constructor, so, Nalini, can you just scroll above? So you can add another constructor which says a public birthday int day, comma int month alone. The string of names, you don't have to do anything at all. You can create a constructor like that. Nothing stops you from
Like
doing
should
that.
should I do that, ma'am?
Yeah, it's permitted. Like you can just do for the day, just do for day and month, just do for day and names, not the month. Something, all possible combinations you can have.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we can also put a restriction on use of method by class by object.
Sorry, I did not understand. What is it?
Suppose in class there are 5 methods.
5 methods, okay.
Yeah. So there is a method to restrict on access of method?
Restrict access of method to who?
Some method, just like we use a subset of attribute.
Oh, you mean I told you about the programmer access, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can have, okay, you cannot have private constructors as such. You need to have public constructors, but you will just give the signatures of these constructors. That's it. I mean, the signature of, when I say signature, the parameter value, the return type of, okay, of course, the constructor, the return type is the same, but the arguments, right? The list of arguments will be like, see, when I'm just talking about these 3 values, it is different. You may have a class, for instance, if you see the string class in the Java, right? You will see there are so many data variables, out of which you are not even aware of existence of most of them, right? And you only know of very few data variables in that, right? Methods and data variables, no? So that kind of restricted access can be given, and only this will be made available to the programmer. Like these are the only methods available to this set of programmers. These are the only methods available to the other set of programmers. So that kind of a limitation that we can do, of course. I mean, you will come to know it when we do more examples and everything. You will come to see like why this is advantageous and why this is useful.
And for this copy constructor, now in this case that V2 is copying from V1. Now, if I want to add one more element in V2, is it possible? Means whatever is V1, I am copying in V2, but I want to add one more element in V2. Is it possible?
So you mean something like V2.names of 3, is it?
No.
Or you mean totally something like leap year or some new field as such is what you're saying?
Yeah, day month names is already there.
Yeah.
So V2 I am copying that from V1,
right.
but in addition to there should be one more feature in V2. Is it possible to assign
no, that's actually the template defined by the birthday class, right? So it's an object of birthday class. So that is actually defined by the structure of the birthday class. You can't edit that.
No, in birthday class I will add one more, but that I will not use in V1. That I want to use in V2. But whatever is in V1, I first want to copy it down in V2 and add.
So your constructor, you will have a constructor where it initializes only those 3 values. And for B1, you will use that constructor is what you mean.
Yeah, you can do that, no? So from B1, you can copy like day and month, and you can, okay, I will do here itself. I will remove this.
So who was asking Samit, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Samit. So see, B1, what you mean is see, suppose the class birthday has say 4 variables, okay? Day, month, year, and leap year, something like that. What you want to do is for B1, you just want to instantiate day, month, and year, not the leap year. For B2, you want to instantiate all 4, right?
All 4, but
in
B2, first I want to copy the 3 features from B1 and use the additional in B2. Is it possible if I use the copy constructor?
So that means the leap year, whatever the fourth field is there, that was not there for B1, but will you still be able to do that is what you're asking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is possible. See, the moment you say birthday B1 equal new birthday, the constructor is only initializing the values. The memory allocated will be whatever are all the fields, memory will be allocated. The initialization of the values is only what happens for B1. The fourth value will be initialized to its default value for B1 also. Even whether you initialize it or not, the leap year value will also be initialized to 0 in the case of B1.
Oh, okay. So, okay. That means whatever in the class variable, it is by default, all the constructor will have, whether I am assigning or not.
Yeah, initializing, whatever you want to customly initialize is what you're doing using the constructor. See, by default, every Java class comes with what is known as a default constructor, which will initialize all these instance variables to its default values. Okay, so when you're whether you create a B1 equal to new birthday, if you simply put without any parameter also, it gets initialized, right? It gets assigned an object, right? I mean, even if you don't have, if you simply use new birthday without any parameter, it will still get initialized, you know?
Yes.
Because, yeah, that is because the memory is allocated for all the variables inside the class, inside the object, yeah. Okay. Okay, so yeah, any other questions?
Ma'am, why we use parameter string argument in main method?
Okay, why string argument?
Yes,
Why
ma'am.
we use string argument? Yeah, because
Main
that is
method.
taking. Okay, you are talking about this string argument or which thing?
No, ma'am. In general, in main method, we put the argument.
Yeah,
string.
this thing already Danya ma'am has explained. No, if you want to execute our code from command prompt by passing some input, then we can, use this string args at that time. So if while executing your program from command prompt, if you execute your program by passing some input, okay. Yeah, previously in the previous session, ma'am also executed and showed you this.
So what happens, you know, these are known as a command line arguments. Who was asking the question? Sorry. Who was asking the question? I don't address by name. Sorry?
Deepak Kumar, ma'am.
Deepak
Kumar.
Deepak. So see, the idea is the main program when you are invoking.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if you have seen the, like, you know, what we did last time, like when we compile it using Java C command. Maybe you've seen the lectures also. Java C command is for compiling and Java command is for executing, right? So when you are invoking the Java command, right, Java followed by a class name, right? What happens is this Java JVM is actually looking for the main method. Okay, and this main method is taking some arguments from the command line, Java, class name, and whatever you put after that will be taken as one argument after the other. If you put a space between two values, those two will be treated as two separate arguments. So whatever you give after the class name, those will be treated as command line arguments, and you can access those arguments inside the main program using this args variable. See, if you say args 0, then will be the first value that comes after the class name that you will. Okay, so these things, instead of speaking out, maybe I should show, but I think I have already shown in the last live session. Can you just go and see that? And then let me know if you're not able to figure it out.
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, it's nothing but command line arguments. You can just Google it up also. Okay. And maybe if you've done in command line arguments in Python, you will also know about it. It is actually giving arguments to the main method. So for every function, we are giving arguments, right? For instance, the constructor itself, we are giving arguments. How do you give arguments to the main method? That's via the command line. When we are saying, say, Java class name, and then whatever you give, that will be the arguments to the main method. And that is actually taken in as a string. If you want to use it as an integer or whatever, you have to do some typecasting inside. Is that clear, Deepak?
Yes, ma'am. I will be go to previous session and
please do
for
that.
more understanding. But
yes, and you can also try the Java documentation, the docs.oracle.com page. No, the Java 11 page is there. No, That also you just go and see the main method. You can just see what the string args means. Okay, it's a command line argument. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, sorry. Carry on.
No, ma'am, I'm just asking like for any questions. Yeah, if no questions are there, then we can start with activity or practice questions of week 2. If you have any doubts, then we will solve those doubts first and then we'll go to those questions. Okay, I hope like there's no one.
Yeah, we can start the
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone want to answer these questions along with me? Yeah, I think Punit, you can answer, right?
Hang on, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay, source code. And not the first one, because the source code is first done by the compiler, not the JVM. So not the first option. The bytecode written by the programmer is interpreted, that is correct. The second option is correct. The source code is interpreted by the low-level machine into a low-level machine by JVM, that is not correct because it's done by the compiler. So the JVM is the one that runs the bytecode. So the second option is correct.
Okay, the Java bytecode written by the programmer.
Not by the programmer. The Java
bytecode is written by the programmer is interpreted by the JVM. Yeah, that is not correct. Okay, the source code is interpreted into the low-level machine code by the JVM. Yeah, first it should be compiled and then it should be. Yeah.
It should not. Yeah, first it needs bytecode.
Yeah, it should be compiled and then we'll get the bytecode and then it will be interpreted to low-level machine code by JVM. Okay, this is like
none of them are correct.
Yeah, if the source code written by the programmer is not syntactically correct, then the JVM will the error will be compiler. No.
Compiler.
Okay. So we'll see the answer. It is like none of the above. So
right.
Yeah. Okay, the thing is like if the source code is written by the programmer is not syntactically correct, then the compiler will raise an error. It's not the JVM which gives an error. Yeah, the Java bytecode is written by the Java. We will write the source code. The code which we write is called source code, and the bytecode which is the bytecode which we get is produced by the compiler. So Java bytecode is not written by the programmer, and this option is incorrect. And the source code is interpreted into low-level machine code by the JVM, not the source code. JVM interprets the bytecode. Bytecode is interpreted into low-level machine code by the JVM. So all the three options are correct. So are incorrect. So answer is none of the above. Okay, next question.
So Nalini is just sorry to interrupt. Yeah, so how many of you know like what is the function of the JVM? What exactly is the JVM? Does anyone know about it? Has anyone thought about it?
It's an environment.
Sorry? Someone was trying to answer me.
It's an environment to run the Java code, like the bytecode.
Okay, so what is environment? What do you mean by environment? I mean, environment is a very broad phrase, right? So what exactly is this JVM? Like, is it set of files? It's a machine, right? When you say Java virtual machine, what do you mean by that machine? Is a physical machine? Is it Set of files, it's a package, libraries, what is that?
I
From
think it is,
JVM is a
It's we can say it's like operating system. Some
Yeah, something like some system software, right?
yes.
Some system software, which we call as an abstract machine, which is something like, which in itself is like a computer inside which we think that the actual execution is happening. Eventually, execution is happening in the computer hardware and is taken care of with the operating system. But there is this layer of JVM, which is an abstract machine, which is a set of software, which is a system software, which will interpret the whatever is the object, the class file, the dot class file generated, right? So you have the .java file. It is compiled into bytecode, which is the dot class file. If you compile a program, you will see the dot class file listed in that particular folder, right? That is the bytecode. Okay, that class file is the bytecode, and this bytecode is the input for this Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine is nothing but another software. Okay, Java virtual machine takes in this particular class file as input and then generates the machine code, the binary code or the machine code, which is understood by the computer's architecture on the computer on which the code is ultimately going to get run. So that is the JVM. So JVM does not have anything to do with the source code. JVM does not even know the existence of the source code. It only takes as input the bytecode and then converts into the machine code. The second option why it is wrong is bytecode is not written by the programmer, right? The programmer writes only the source code. The bytecode is generated by the compiler. So compiler takes as input the source code, generates the bytecode. JVM takes as bytecode and then interprets into machine code. So there are two levels of one level of compiler and the other level of interpreter in Java, which makes this whole platform independence. Okay, so Java bytecode is not written by the programmer. The programmer writes a source code which is converted to bytecode, and this bytecode is interpreted. So later part is correct. It is interpreted by the JVM into low-level machine instructions is correct. The only part within the two commas is wrong. It is not written by the programmer. It is actually generated by the compiler from the source code written by the programmer. And the third one is source code is interpreted into low-level machine code by, which is not correct. Source code is compiled into bytecode and then bytecode is interpreted into low-level machine code by the JVM. Okay, just making it clear. See, I'm just reiterating for people who are totally new to Java. For others who are very well introduced and experienced Java, excuse my repetition. Just for people who are new to Java, these things, terminologies can be a little overwhelming. And that's why I'm just repeating it just, yeah. So in case, all of you are comfortable with this, you can just let me know and I'll probably avoid this repetition. Okay. Yeah, Nalini, carry on. Okay, just wanted to read. I mean, these are the things which I had doubt about when I started learning Java, and that's what must be why I'm trying to, emphasize and reiterate and all that. Yeah. Yeah, please carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's okay.
Question.
Sorry?
The one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, different compiler can generate different type of bytecode.
No, I didn't know. Does different type of compiler means you mean Java compiler and other language compilers or Java? So
Java means, because I am very new to Java, I don't know. That is why asking this question. It may look very silly because somebody use some compiler for the Java program. Other people are using some compiler for the Java program. If the two compiler is different for the, see, I am writing that is source code, but I am compiling in some case software. It will generate some bytecode. Is all the compiler for the Java programming same or the different compiler?
No, so do you mean to say that the editor is different or the compiler is different? The editor is like the Eclipse or the Replit or whatever, right? Ultimately, the underlying Java compiler is the Java 11 version given by the Oracle, right?
Okay.
For an operating system, like whatever Java compiler we are getting, that is like so the bytecode generated by that will be the same irrespective of the editor you are using.
That means, can I say the JVM is always get a same type of input, but it will generate different types of output based on the machine architecture?
Yes, correct. You are right. Yeah.
Okay.
The bytecode is independent of the machine on which it's going to be run. The bytecode is only dependent on what source code it is there.
Yes.
Okay, but the machine instruction, the final machine instructions are specific to the computer architecture. And that is what, so the JVM gets the bytecode from whichever compiler, right? I mean, the Java compiler, whichever machine it was generated, it receives this bytecode and converts into machine. Yeah. So as you said, like bytecode gets this, the JVM gets this bytecode, which is the same. Like if for the same program, same source code, it will get the same bytecode.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So anyone wants to answer this question?
May I continue? Well, this is easy. So I
Yeah,
would like
you
to
can. You can. Yeah.
Alright.
It's okay. You can continue.
Okay, so which of the
Oh.
statements are correct? So this is about function main, and the public keyword is an accessor modifier that prevents the main method to be accessed. Actually, the public does the opposite. It exposes the function. So this is not true. First one. The void keyword specifies that the main method does not return any value. That is correct. So when we don't have a return value, we have to specify void, else the compiler will expect the return value. The static keyword allows calling the main method without using any object. Yes, so this was in the lecture that if we have a method that does not need to be inherited into an object, we need static. So all library functions are static. String args is used to handle the command line arguments. Yes, this was also there in the lecture that since main will run from command line, the parameters are passed as command line arguments. So we need a array to absorb that, to handle that. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all the three are correct. So if you are, so public keyword allows, here it is saying public keyword is an access modifier. It's correct, that prevents the main method to be accessed from outside the class. So if anything is public in Java, that means you can access it from anywhere. So but here the thing is they are telling it in an opposite manner. The main method to be accessed from outside, so it is like prevents the access they are telling. So it's not correct. It is like it will, if something is public, you can access it from anywhere in Java, if an variable or if an method or if a class is public. Yeah. The void keyword specify that the main method does not return any value. Okay, if your method has void is of type, if your method has void return type, then it means that the method is not returning anything. So void specifies that the method does not return anything. That happens for main also. That is same for main also. So it is also correct. The static keyword allows calling the method name, the main method without using any object. Yeah, if your method is static, you can call that method without creating an object. You can simply say method name dot that. You can simply say class name dot that method. You can simply call that method by using the class name. So that static allows the static keyword access modifier. It enables us to do this thing. So this is also correct. And string args is used to handle the command line arguments discussed in the previously also. Yeah, if you want to give some command line input, if you want to give some input while executing your program, like from the command prompt, the string args, by using the string args, will handle this. Okay. Yeah, if anyone has any doubt, you can interrupt, like you can ask. Yeah, if not, we'll move to next
ma'am, I
question.
think we
Okay.
should continue.
Yeah, you
We're
can
going
continue.
slow. So you can continue
Yeah.
because otherwise you're
Yeah.
doubling the time.
Yeah, you can continue. Yeah,
So I
it's
was
okay.
saying, so me doing it, you do it because we don't have much time left.
Okay. Okay. Okay, which of the following statements is true about the classes and objects in Java? A Java program is collection of classes. That's right. No, we have seen previously also, like in first week also, like it is like we kept, and like in the lectures sir kept telling it is like collection of classes. Okay, we can declare any number of variables in a program. yeah, we can declare any number of variables in our program, right? There is no limitation for that. We can define any number of methods in the class. Yes, we can define any number of methods in our class. There is no limitation for that also. So all the options are correct, and the answer is all of the above. Yeah. What is the extension of JVM bytecode? JVM byte. The okay. So first our code is source code, and then the bytecode, like the compiler will compile and it will give the bytecode which is in the format of dot class. The the bytecode has extension of dot class, no? So that is like the file extension of JVM bytecode is dot class only. Okay, this is like answer true or false. The input parameter of the main method is an array of int. It's not array of int, string, array of strings, no? So hence the answer is false. Sorry. Okay, the main method is available to run from outside the class. Yes, we are running the main method without creating an object, and yeah, without instantiating object, and we are directly calling, we are running, no, that yes, we can run the main method from outside the class. The return type of main method is string. It's not string, it's void, public static void, no? So it's void, hence it is false. Identify the incorrect statement. You need to identify incorrect statement. The Java C command interrupts and runs the bytecode. Okay, what the Java C command is just compiles our code. It's not in what interrupts, no? The Java program is collection of classes is correct. The Java JVM provides a uniform execution environment across all the operating systems. Yes, we have discussed also this in week 1. Functions and variables and variable types have to be declared in advance. Variable types has to be declared in advance. Functions and variables types has to be declared in advance. Yeah, what is meant by function? Okay, this is clear. No, Java C command interrupts and runs a bytecode. It's not interrupts, it just compiles a bytecode. But functions, ma'am, can you help, like what
Yeah.
is
So certain programs, certain languages like C, we have to, even before defining the function, we have to declare it. Like we have to say that, okay, there is a function which is going to come later. So before the main is actually run, we have to say that, okay, there is some such function which is likely to come later. So that is what is mentioned in functions have to be declared in advance. No, this is not required in Java. You can actually declare it later also. Yeah, just so one second. Functions and variable type. Okay. This is actually looking for the incorrect statement, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Variable types have to be declared in advance. Functions.
Advanced, yeah. Yeah, that's
I'm not sure what it
the
is.
First one, ma'am, the compiler doesn't run the bytecode. Debian runs the bytecode.
No, yes.
Yeah,
The first one is incorrect. So it means the last one is correct, no?
Yeah.
So in functions, yeah.
I think it is talking about like we have to declare what type of function it is, whether it is int, float, or void.
You mean the return type of the function?
Function and variable type.
Variable types is clear. We have to declare because Java is like, the static typing, right? Because we have to declare it in advance. But functions, I am a little unsure. Like, what did we mean by that? Okay, I'll just check. Nalini, you can carry on with the next question. I'll just check and let you know. Okay?
Yeah. Thanks. Yep. Choose the correct signature for the main method in Java. It is like public static void means array of anything. The name can be, the variable name can be args or apples or any variable name can be anything. No, so it is C, and B is incorrect because it is array is missing here. And for option A, we are not specifying the return type. Hence option A is correct. Incorrect. Okay. Identify the incorrect statement. The main method has no return value. Yes, main method is not returning anything. The main method is invisible outside the class. No, main method is visible, right? We can execute our main method from outside of our class. Okay, that is incorrect. need to specify input argument type and output return type for the main method. Yes, we are specifying our input as string array and our output as void for main method. The input parameter for the main method is an array of strings. That is also correct. And the answer is B. Okay. Which of the following statements is are true about? Hello. Yeah.
Which one is invisible method? Those who are private. The last question that we asked, no?
Yeah, but it's invisible. Okay.
Give one example of invisible that.
From outside the wait, I will open this. Okay, the main method has no, the main method is invisible outside the class.
Yeah, so Nalini, what it means by invisible is like you cannot access it from outside, which is not true, because when you're invoking the Java class name, right, it is actually invoking the main method only. And whatever are public, like when you say visibility is, what do you mean by visibility is whether that you can invoke that method from outside that class. That is the visibility. When you say invisible, if you declare a method as private, that method cannot be accessed from outside that class.
Yeah,
that is the private methods are invisible outside the class.
Yeah, that means private method is only I can access when I am inside that class.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
There are also like one more thing. So there are like protected methods, then default methods, and all that, which you will come to know like when we are expressing. So when you say default, default means that with you declare a folder inside which you have put all these Java files. Whatever are visible within that folder, that actually the folder you call it as a package. Okay. Whatever you have given without any modifier before that, right? Say public or private, you have not mentioned anything. Then that is a default method. And these methods are visible inside that package to all the class files inside that package. If you put a class file outside that package or outside that folder, then these classes are invisible outside that package. They cannot be accessed from outside the package. So that is the visibility is to do with whether that method can be invoked from outside the class or inside the class or outside the package or inside the package. So that's about the visibility, whether that method can be invoked.
So yeah, statement 1 is like int and byte data types allows numeric and numeric values with fraction. So integers allows only integer, int and byte data types allows only int types, no, like integers. It does not allow fraction, like you cannot say 1.01 using, you cannot assign that value to int. So this is incorrect. Statement 1. Long and double data types do not allow numeric values with fractions. Long and double, see, long doesn't allow numeric values with fractions, but double allows numeric values with fractions. So statement 2 is also incorrect. Statement 3 is like byte and short data types do not allow numeric values with fraction. Yeah, this is correct because byte and short only holds integers, so they doesn't allow fractions. Hence the statement, only statement 3 is correct. I will check open answers. So only statement 3 is correct. Okay. Which of the following okay, match the following only, this float. So anyone want to do this, like how many bits does like memory size of float, double and int and long and short? Okay, this is simple, like memory only. Like float is of type float takes 32 bits and double is 64 bits and int is like 32 bits and long is 64 bits and short is like 16 bits, like char is also 16 bits, like this, like yeah, in the lecture slides also sir has given like memory size for float, all these things. You can just go through those slides once. Which of the following statements is true? JVM allocates memory to the variables. Okay. Data type specify which type of the data should be stored in variables. Yes, data type also specifies variables cannot be declared without initialization. Yes, this is also correct. No, we can declare the variables without initialization. You can simply say int x, later you can say x equal to 10 or something. So that means you can do declaration and then initialization later. It is not always required to initialize and declare at the same time. So variables should not be declared in the middle of the program. You can declare variables at any point of your at any part of your program. All required variables should be declared at the beginning of a program. No, it's not mandatory. You can declare at any point of the program. So the correct answers are JVM allocates memory to the variables and data type specifies which type of data should be stored in the variable. Okay. Okay. If anyone has doubt, you can stop. Okay, in between. Consider the Java code and predict the output. You need to predict the output. Okay, our point of execution will start from main method, and name one is IATM string and name two is Java string. So name one dot concatenate of name two. We are concatenating that thing and we are displaying name one. So will the value of name one will be changed or it will be same? So we are not, yeah, it will be same. No, we are not modifying name one at all. We are just concatenating here in the statement. We are not saying name one equal to name one dot concatenate of name two. We are not assigning that thing. We're just writing the statement. Yeah, if we print this statement as output, we will get IATM Java as output. But if we print only name one, the name one will be same. It will be IATM only, because we are not changing name one. We are not updating the value of name one. No. Okay, the modifier dash for a variable indicates a constant. So if so we have seen no final. If we declare something as final, we cannot change that. It will remain constant throughout your program. So final is that modifier. Okay, a string, for the string, if in order to find the length, it is like method. For the array, it is a variable. So length and the primitive scalar character is like what character is single quote. Okay, primitive scalar is okay. Primitive scalars are like int, byte, short, long, float, double, and also char. These are primitive types. No, so primitive scalar is char, and character is like not to write character in Java, you will use single quote. Okay. Yeah, is anyone speaking or no? Right. Okay. If comma switch are called iterative statements, they are not conditionals. No, they are conditional statements. For and while loops are we will use those for iteration. No, so selection and conditional statements enable program execution to repeat one or more statements. Enables the program execution to repeat one or more statements. Selections and condition by using if or switch will execute what some part of your code. Like if the condition is true, then we'll execute few statements. No, but we are not repeating those statements, right? So these both statements are incorrect. Statement 1 and statement 2 are incorrect. Wait, let me check answers. So both statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is also incorrect. Okay. Consider the Java code given below and predict the output. Okay, you are for loop is there, and you are
Nalini,
checking.
I think these questions which they can test it on the this thing, right? Editor Java compiler. Let them we can skip it.
Okay,
yeah, if anyone has any questions, we can clarify. Otherwise, I think they can directly run it at the this thing and check why it is. Or if you have any question why it is working like that, we can discuss here. But otherwise, we can move on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is also execution thing only. Okay, which of the following statements is our control flow statements in Java? So what are control flow statements? Like So yeah, we'll see selection statements will like if switch has selection statements, no. So if we see if block in your statement, so yeah, we are executing our program when we see if block in some method. So we'll check for that condition. If that condition is true, then only the control flow will go into those into that particular if block, and the statements will get executed, no. So yeah, the selection statements are also will affect like the control flow in our program. So selection statements is also true. For iterative statements are also true, and jumping statements like does it means switch, like jumping statements means
Yeah, I think it generally means the go-to statements, but I don't know Java's go-to statements. Are there any other jumping statements? I'm not sure. Well, I
okay
think we'll
yeah
check
yeah
it.
yeah okay ma'am. Yeah,
Yeah, but
when
eventually, like any jumping string, like whatever gives a
yeah that will
to change
that will
to a
yeah that
totally
will
drastically different step. Yeah, it will actually. I'm not
yeah
sure.
but yeah yeah, whatever according to our understanding, these jumping statements also will affect our control flow, no. Okay, if we are like yeah
Which statement is jumping statement?
no no, that's what we are unsure. Like switch is not like we will jump between the not jump, we won't jump, we will check for the particular case. If that is true, then we will execute those statement. It is kind of
It's
conditional only,
conditional, right? Yeah.
only
I'm
yeah, the
not sure.
selection
Yeah,
yeah
right. We
jumping
have to check. Yeah.
Continue. This continue
Break and continue. Break and continue. I mean.
is jumping statement.
Continue.
Break and continue.
Oh,
Because I am
yeah, in a way, yes, right? I mean, you are actually skipping that flow and going back to. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly. Okay, I mean, I don't want to give the wrong information. So, yeah, possibly it is possible. Like continue and break. Like, I'm not sure. I don't want to mess you up. I'll check and let you know. Okay.
yeah. Which of the following is part of for loop syntax? Okay, you will have initialization, updation, and conditional checking parts. So all of the above based okay, this like okay, in order to print the elements of array, we will use for loop. No, this is just like iterating each and every index of the array of each and every, like iterating over the array and printing each and every element at but that index. That is simple. And you can use also this enhanced for loop, like Python also. You can do this also in Java. So all these predicting outputs, no, we yeah, you can just run on your system, or you can execute by yourself, and you can no answer try to yeah, I think Hemant has raised a hand, no. Hemant, do you have any doubt? Okay, so I'm skipping all this because these are like that.
So Nali, just to answer the earlier question of jumping, it looks like continue, break, and return are treated as jumping statements. I'm not able to see anything from the official Java page, but in general, supposedly like continue, break, and return are jumping statements. Okay. Yeah. For
Yeah,
now, I
okay,
can
ma'am.
see.
Yeah. So and if without else will generate an error, it is not. So if may or may not be followed by an else, so it is like optional. You can use it. It is like up to you to use either to include else, but there is no kind of restriction for in Java like to like if should be followed, if should must be always followed by else. It is not there in Java, so it is like optional. It may or may not be followed by an else, so it is like false. Each while loop iterates at least once. It is not always correct, no. If the condition is false, then the statements in the while loop won't be executed, so it is false. So switch selects between different options. Yeah, you will get chance to what select over different options using the switch. So conditional execution is like single branching. That means if else. Conditional loops are like while. Iteration is like both. Iteration is like for, and multi-way branching is switch. You can select over this different things. So, which of the following loops will execute the body of the loop even if the loop condition is false? That is do while loop. No, first. So first we will execute the code which is statements inside the do part, and then we'll check the condition. So it will happen at least the statements inside that do while loop will get executed at least once even if the condition is false. Okay, consider the Java code given below and select the correct options. Double width, and you have 3 instance variable with height and depth. Invalid class declaration because no main method is defined. No, your class can or cannot have main method. It's like we have already seen, no, like Java is a collection of program is a collection of classes. Every class need not include main method. Valid class declaration. Yeah, this is like valid only. We can define class without methods. Yeah, we can have class without methods also. And answer none of the above. No, 2 and 3 are correct options. No, we check answers. So this is a valid class declaration. Your class may, or you can simply have class without any instance variables also. Yeah, it won't give us any error. From among the given options, select the code that calls show method correctly from inside the main method. Okay, you need to call show method right from this main. Yeah, so the thing is like this is static. No, yeah, sorry ma'am, is my screen not visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Is there a problem? Like, I mean, you were hesitating.
No,
Okay,
ma'am. Like,
okay,
no.
okay.
Yeah, just I'm thinking. So
Yeah, sure.
this is like static. No, from the static methods, from this within the static method, we can only call the static methods directly. So if this show method, as this like show and main method are within the class box example, so this both show and main method are within the box example. So from we can call methods inside our class, that is allowed, but within the static methods we can call only the static methods. From the static method we can call only a static method. So if it is a static void show, then we can directly call show of from our main method. But this is not static, so you need to create the object of box example and then you need to call the show method. That how can you create an object? By you saying new box example dot show. You can do this, or you can just create. So this is like you are not instantiating. No, this is just declaring that this box is of type box example, but you are not creating any object. So this is not valid, second option. And the third option is like you are creating an object. Okay, you are creating an object like box, and then you are calling the show method. You can do in this way also. And the third way is, yeah, third way, first you are declaring box is of type box example, and then you are creating an object for box, and then you are calling the show method. So this is correct. And yeah, this is also correct, and this is correct. So these first 3 options are correct. This 3 option. Yeah, if anyone has doubt in this question, you can ask, or we can proceed.
The void show, this method above, is it is not written anything, means by default it is public?
So default is like, yeah, you will come to know this in the later of this chapter, but the default, this is like, if it does not have any access modifier, then that means default if the method doesn't have any, if it is not specifying any access modifier, then it is public to the class within the package. Then within the package we can access this. So our package may have many classes, right? So for all those classes it is visible, but outside the package it is not visible, this show method. So only within the, it is like it is public by default within the package. Within the package you can access, but outside the package it is not visible. Okay. This is simple predicting the output. Which of the following statements is true about the variables in Java? Okay, the instance variables are initialized to garbage values if no explicit initialization is done. Yeah, this is correct. No, instance variables are initialized to not garbage values, they are initialized to default values if no explicit initialization is done. All the local variables are not initialized. We should explicitly do the initialization of local variables. So option B is correct.
So one
Only
minute, Nali. So can anybody differentiate between instance variables and local variables? What is the difference between instance variable and local variable?
Instant variables are the from the class objects.
Okay.
While local variables are those used within a within the class or within a function.
Yeah. So whatever variables are specific to a class, right? That variables that we declare just below the class definition, no? Those variables that come as part of, like for instance, the date class that we declared, int day, int month, and all that, right? Those are like instance variables. The local variables are something which is specific, which comes inside a method, or which even comes as like the parameter to the method, or even inside a for loop, you put like for int I equal to, right? Even that I is actually a local variable. So whatever has limited scope, which say something like a within a method, within a for loop, within a while loop, or whatever, that is actually local variable. Whereas instance variables are something which are specific to the class, and for every instance, every object instance, these variables will get a different value. I mean, these will be initialized to their default values. Say for int, it will be initialized to 0. For strings, it will be initialized to symbol with double quotes, right? That empty string, right? So these kind of initializations will happen for the instance variable. So that is the difference between instance and local variables. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Nalini,
yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Can I use the same variable name for the instance and local?
So that's what we did, no? Last time, like we used the prefix this dot, right? To indicate that that particular variable is for is the variable of the object. So whatever is coming from the argument, that also has the same variable name, and the instance variable also had the same variable name, right? The day. Remember for the date class that Nalini showed in the beginning. The instance variable also had the name day, and the parameter argument that was coming inside also had the name day. So what we used is we used this dot day to distinguish between the instance variable and the local variable, right? Both had the same name. So how do we distinguish between the two? We used this prefix. Okay.
Yeah. An object is an instance of class. Yeah, it's true. An object can be initiated by a constructor. Yes, we can. Object instantiation can we do by constructor using constructor. Objects are created by clone keyword. No, right? They are created by using new. You can create objects by using the new keyword. A constructor is a method having the same name as that of the class without any return type. Yes. Yeah, a constructor is similar to a method, but it does not have any return type. A constructor has no return type. It is true. The return type of constructor is void. No constructor does not have any return type, so it is false. A constructor executes automatically when we create an object. Yes. If our class does not have any constructor, then it will execute the default constructor, which is provided by the Java compiler. The statement for creating an object of the IIT class IIT is You should call the constructor, no, you should call the constructor while creating the object, no. So our class name and the constructor name should be same. Then it should be like IIT student. The variable can be of any name, and but the constructor must have the same class name. So new IIT of is correct. This is C option is correct. Why B is incorrect? Because we are not calling the constructor of IIT, we are calling the constructor of OBJ. Similarly for A option. So only the C. Okay.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
ma'am. Sorry to.
Yeah.
So like in lecture 2.4, so sir told like if we don't provide any constructor, a default constructor is called,
Yeah.
and the default constructor assigns default values to every instance
Instance
variables.
variables. Yeah.
But the thing is, like when I was trying, like when I was coding, so I provided a constructor, but
Okay.
I didn't initialize any values
Okay.
in that constructor. But still, when I called the print, like a public method to print the instance variables, still the default values were showing up.
Yeah. If no, yeah, the no argument constructor is like so in the no argument constructor also, this the memory will be allocated to your, when an object is created, right, the memory will be allocated to that instance variables, no. So at that time all the instance variables will be set to some default values. So integers, scalars will be, so integers will be set to 0 and float will be 0.0. Similarly objects will be set to null. This is happening when at the time of creation of the object itself. Like when we create the object, that means we are allocating memory for the instance variables. But when we are calling when we write explicitly some constructor, then the instance variables will be created, the memory will be allocated for those instance variables, and that particular value will be assigned to those instance variables. Okay, if we explicitly state some values to that within our constructor, that will happen. If not, then those values will be, memory is allocated and they will be set to some default values. Okay, that is happening because your constructor, in your constructor, it does not have any arguments. So you are not specifying that this variable should hold, this instance variable should hold this value. You are not specifying that, so it is setting to default value.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, ma'am, do you want to add anything or is it okay?
No, I guess that's fine. So what you were whoever was sick, I mean, I'm not sure who was speaking about it, but yeah, Tarang, is it? Tarang,
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So what you were saying is like you have a constructor which does not have any arguments, which does not have any body also, right? That's what you mean.
Right. Right.
Still, it was initializing to the variables. I mean, values is what you're saying, no?
Right. Right. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the explanation that Nalini gave should be that should be the one that addresses it, right? So I don't think I have anything more to add. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So the only thing is like
So were
sir
you
mentioned.
expecting that? Yeah. So were you expecting that if the default constructor is not there and you have a no argument constructor, then you should have initialized the values? Is that what you were expecting?
So I was expecting the error will show up like when I will use the instance variables, because like default constructor is not called because we have provided a constructor, and
So what you mean
like
is you kind of try to override the default constructor is what you're saying,
right,
is it? And then
right,
without
right,
initializing the value variables, but it still worked is what you're saying, is it?
right, right.
Mm, okay, so can you just delete the dot class file and try once again? I think it should work, as Nalini explained, it should work. But I'm not sure. No argument constructor. I'll just check and let you know. Okay, let me just check it. But I think it should work. I'm not sure. Yeah. So Nalini, have you tried it now? Like, I mean, I have not checked it.
Yeah, we can try it, ma'am. If
No, I'll try it in parallel. You can go on with the.
yeah. Okay.
So I think Tarang, you've already posted that in the discourse, is it?
Right, right, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. So this is console class, no? Just a minute. So which of the following can create an object of the console class. So like this one only, no, system dot console equal to system dot console. Yeah, this is like in the it is directly from the slide. It is shown like how to create an instance of this console class and how to take input from the console class. Also, it is directly from the lecture. Okay, which of the following statements we can create the scanner class? This is also directly from the lecture. Scanner anything variable equal to new scanner of system dot in. So yeah, this is directly syntax like from the lecture, like yeah. Okay, should I do practice assignment or yeah, if you have any doubt you can ask that.
Nalini, I think we can quickly run through. We just have 10 more questions. No, if you are okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Yeah, yes, ma'am. So this is like this thing we have already discussed in the first session also, addition of 10 plus 20. So string concatenation is happening. So first addition of 10 and 20 is 10 will happen. The first 10 will be concatenated to the string, and then 20 will be concatenated. So output will be addition of 10 and 20 is 10, 20. So I will just open the answers. Okay. Okay, here see, this also we have discussed. No, a system dot out dot println a equal to b. We are checking whether both a and b are same. That means whether both the values are same and whether they both are referring to the same location. So by doing this, int array b equal to a, that means we are setting so we are giving another name to the whatever now. um, so yeah, a is referring to some memory location and it is holding the values 1 2 3, no. Similarly now we are telling b is also referring to the same memory location, it is also holding the same values. So system dot out dot println of a equal to b will give true, because like a and b are both same and they are referring to the same memory location. Answer will be true. Yeah, you can stop me if you have doubt. What is the output of the following Java code? So yeah, and now the thing is like string. So now you are telling both str1 and str2 are of type string array, but you have initialized only str2 string. You have not set any value to your str1. So now if you try to access the value, like the if you are trying to get access some element of your str1 without initialization, it will give error, no. So it will give compiler error. Yeah.
So that is the value of str2. How do you know that?
So you are saying str2 equal to apples, grapes, bananas. No, you are not saying str1 equal to. No, you are saying only str2 equal to. So you have declared str1 and str2 as of type string array, but now you are only initializing because equal to is present only for str2. No, that means you are initializing only the values of str2.
So instead, if I after this double quote, I put a comma and again I open the double quote and inside I will write something, then will this str1 and str2 both will define?
Also, can you? I am not getting. Like, can you write in the chat?
No, it
like,
doesn't work. What he's asking is str1 comma str2 is there, no? Like that, we'll put equal to apples, grapes, banana, comma, and then oranges.
No. Yeah, that will give some error. Yeah,
that doesn't work like that. See, whatever is that equal to sign, right? That's an assignment operator that works with immediate effect. Like str2 is the only variable that gets initialized with these values. That's it.
But in Java, I observed particularly when I am passing some argument, I have to individually write. I can't write say int, say both 3r is in integer, but I have to write int a comma int b comma int c like in that fashion. But here you are writing string array, and str is the array and str2 also array, but you are not writing again string of array is str2.
No, that is for arguments, right? That's for function arguments you're talking, no? See, when you're declaring variable, you can do it as int I comma j comma, sorry, int I j k, right? That you can do it, right? No, in public void, inside main method, you can write int x comma y comma z, right?
Yeah,
that is possible. So that is what is happening here. This is not going as parameter. This is actually just initializing the variable, right?
Yeah, but here is the confusion. Why? Because in Python, if we write a comma b is equal to 3 comma 4.
Yeah, that doesn't work in Java. Yeah, that doesn't work in Java. At least not. Sorry?
Yeah, that what you say.
Samit, I think your voice is breaking and it's like not very clear. Can you come again? Can you say again?
No, yeah. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are, but there is a lot of noise. Yeah, you can try again. Yeah.
Yeah. In Python, we can write a comma b is equal to 3 comma 4. So a is equal to 3, b is equal to 4.
Yeah, unpacking is not there in Java. Okay, the tuple and unpacking is not there in Java. It won't happen.
But in the same one line, you are writing string of array of str1 comma str2. Then to avoid this compilation error, how do you define the value of str1 in this line?
Here there is no compilation error, no? Nalini, is there a compilation error?
Is there? Yeah, there is compilation error because str1 str is
okay,
like
that is because of the system.out.print, right? I mean, it's not because of the string str1 comma str2. The problem is str1. We are trying to print str1 which is not initialized. That is why we have a compilation error.
No, if I want to correct this program, how to initialize str1 here?
Sorry.
Yeah, you can in the below you can write str1 equal to in the like after this statement str1 equal to some value. You can initialize it to some value, no?
In the comma with same line, I can't because
yeah, with the comma in the same line you can't. You need to create new line.
Okay.
See, this is almost like you are writing int x comma y equal to 0, right? What gets initialized there?
Y is equal to 0 only initialize, x remain.
Yeah.
In Java it is like that. Okay.
So this is like, yeah, I1 by I2. I1 is like 10 divided by 29 into I2. So how, yeah, you in Python also you have learned precedence, so multiplication and division has same priority. So it will, the expression will be evaluated from left to right. So first I1 by I2 will be happened, and then multiplication with I2 will happen. So I1 by I2 is 10 by 20 is like 29 is 0 into something is 0. So the first 0 will be printed, and then I2 into I1 will happen first. That is 290 by 29 will happen. So answer will be 10. So 0. Yeah. Because as it is a double, the values will be printed as a 0.0 and 10.0 as not as 0 and 10. Okay. So here final int I equal to 10, and then you are saying I equal to 20. You are not supposed to change the value of a variable which is declared as final, no? So you will get compiler error here because you are changing the variable which is declared as final, value of variable which is declared as final, no? So you will get compiler error here. And so here you are creating an instance of the new class variable, this x class variable, by saying int I, by passing I is 30. But here what you are doing here is I equal to 20. So whatever you pass here, we are not saying I equal to underscore I. We are not doing that. We are not setting the argument which you have passed. We are just setting whatever may be the argument we pass, we are just setting the value of I to 20, and then we are calling the print function, that this object print function that is printing the value of I. So 20 will be printed. So do anyone have doubt in this question, or should I proceed? I think answer is 20. Okay. Okay, if no one has doubt, I will move. Okay, this is simple. Like we have two strings, str, str1, and we have one character array, a, e, I, o, u, that is vowels. And we are what we are doing next loops. We are checking each and every our character of string. We are checking whether that is present. Okay, we are checking whether a is present in your string, or e is present, or I is present. If it is present, then you are appending it to str1. str1 is initially empty. So wherever you find e or a or whatever vowels you find, wherever you found vowels in your string, that will be appended to str1. So only vowels will be printed. If you print str1, whatever the vowels here are there, that will be printed. So but why the output is like only a, first a, then e, then o? Because see, first you will check, first you are iterating over the elements of this character array. So and then you are checking whether the first element of your character array is a. So you are checking in your entire string whether a is present. If a is present in your string, then you are appending to str1. So first initially all a's will be appended, all a's which are there here will be appended to str1, and then you will check for e. Then all the e's which are present in str in this str will be appended to str1. Similarly for I, o, u. So the order is preserved, like first a is printing and then e, then o. It's not like first here we have first e, and then a, then e. It is not the way, because we are checking for a's first, then e's, then I, and then o, and then u. So the output is in that manner. Okay, this is symbol switch of country. Country is the input which we give. Okay, if we provide Sri Lanka as input to the program, what will be the output? If the Sri Lanka is input, then the output is Colombo is the capital of country, and then there is no break statement. So this default case also will be what if there is no break statements, the statements will be executed until let's see the break statement in switch case. So yeah, so Colombo is the capital of what Sri Lanka will happen, and then please enter the valid country name also will be printed, and then will come out of that case, switch case. So output is in this manner. Yeah, here how many times hello world will be printed? Here see, initially j is 20, and then we are iterating from 10, and we are doing I plus plus and j minus minus in the same iteration. So yeah, first I will be 10, and in the second case it will be 11, j will be like 19, and so on. So it will happen only till I less than j. So hello world will be printed only 5 times. No, yeah, you can check this by executing also, by keeping some what okay, if you have not understood directly, you can take the case of 0 and some 5, and then you can check, like you can change and you can understand. I think that same thing. Yeah, without this thing, without the anything updation, without any conditional checking, without initialization, then this will happen like it will be printed forever, infinity times. You can check this also. This is kind of checking only. Yeah, here y equal to plus x, that means this is like you are not saying y plus equal to x. If you say y plus equal to x, y first plus and then equal to sign, then the expression will be same as y equal to y plus x. But here you are saying simply y equal to plus x, that means whatever the value of x, 10, this here it is acting as unary operator, that means only plus or minus indication. So yeah, y will be the value of y will be same 20. Why no, now you have updated it to 10, no, so the output will be 10, the value will be same as x. Okay, sure. So this is like modulo operation means reminder you will get when you print this. So is there, okay, the above code does not compile because the string array is not proper. Above code will not compile or will compile, it will compile, no, because everything is proper, so it is false. Okay, the code gives the output as 6, so 34 divided by 7, 7 4s are 28, 28 minus 34 is 6 only, no, see 34 plus 28 plus 6 is 34 only, right? So answer, we should do this addition, 28 plus what 6 is 34
6 only, right? So 38 not 7 is
34 by 7.
34/7.
Int c, no, so int c equal to a modulos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this won't compile because int a is 34.0. Yeah, because int a is 34.0, that we cannot do because you cannot assign double value to int. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, the above code does not compile because the data types are mismatched. Yes, because you are assigning what double value to int, that's why the code is not compiling. Yeah, this is like legal error declaration. It is like you can directly, without using this also, you can directly assign this value. Even you can do this new string, you can create object and then you can also initialize it to. Yeah, this is also valid in Java. Arrays are objects. Yes, arrays are objects. An array runs from 1 to a dot length. No, it is like 0 to a dot length minus 1 index. No, they're asking about index, so it runs from 0 to a dot length minus 1. Size of array expands automatically when it's full. No, it is not. They won't expand, they are fixed. Consider the following Java code and choose the correct statements among the options regarding given below. Okay. So here you have a class and you have only the copy constructor. You don't, you so you does not have like the constructor to initialize one, right? You have only copy constructor. So for by using the copy constructor, we can create new object from existing object. That means you can create object only if you have one object by using the copy constructor. If you don't have any object, you cannot create, no, by using the copy constructor. So is it possible to create the object of this class? I think no, right? Yeah, do anyone want to argue like whether is it possible or not, like it will be possible, something like that? Yeah, okay, one cannot create the object of the employee class because there is no like proper no direct like no argument constructor, something like no like default constructor also won't be provided because it has copy one constructor in the program. The program runs successfully and the data members id and ename contains the random garbage values. No, they won't contain any random garbage value. Program runs successfully and the data member cid will contain 0 and null. No, the code results in compiler error. Yeah, it will give a compiler error because it will search for the this new employee constructor which is not there in your code, so it will give compiler error. New employee, no argument constructor is not there in your code, so it will give compiler error, and we cannot create an object of this class because there is no other constructor. No, there is only copy constructor, that's why.
If there is no constructor by default, there is some constructor now.
Yeah, there is, yeah, but your class has copy constructor. No, so Java also won't provide, the compiler also won't provide you default constructor. So if you have copy constructor, you can create object only if you have one object. here you don't have any object to create, like you cannot create no object.
Since I have only copy constructor,
Mm.
that is why the problem. If I do not have this copy constructor, then this will
Yeah,
not
yes.
create.
Yeah.
So the default constructor is not, I mean, Java does not provide you a default constructor if you have written any constructor of your own. Whether no argument constructor or any multiple argument constructors or whatever. So if you do that, then Java does not provide the default constructor. That's it.
Okay, what will be the output here? Yeah, this is like you should do this because this is like what we have done in the birthday class, no, the same thing here. So here see employee class has some int, string and e-projects as
So Nalli, I think this example is very clear because we explained it using the birthday. No? I think they can try it out.
yeah,
If there is
you
a
can try
problem,
it
we
out.
can
Yeah,
discuss it.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, I think this is the last question. Yeah, you can try this. Yeah, if something is unclear, you can post in the discourse as well.
Just ma'am, go up to the question number 4 or 5.
4.
I think let's go up. I have just one small query.
Okay.
Not this one, the 5, I think.
Which one?
5, question 5.
Question 5 is final.
1 minute. That's print. Yes, this one.
Yeah, this is yeah, you can tell your doubt.
No, you just please explain this one.
Yeah. So if something is declared, if an variable or if a method is okay, let's talk about only variables. If a method is if a variable is declared as final, then we cannot change that value.
Not this one, not this one.
Okay.
Let's go down. That print one. Yes, this one.
Okay, you try to execute yourself and you can tell what is your output.
So what is the doubt in this, Amit?
Because there is means I am accessing the other class that prints method from another class, right?
Yeah. But, no, see, the class S class is a class, okay, and you are instantiating it inside the PQ class. You're creating an object of it, which is OBJ. That's it. And when you are saying new S class of I, it is actually invoking the constructor S class of int underscore I.
Oh, it's
only a constructor. Yeah, it's only a constructor that is invoking. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, I think we can wind up now. I mean, if anybody else has any questions, please ask. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session. Okay. So I think we were supposed to show the eclipse this time. No? I think we kind of missed it. So has anyone installed Eclipse and tried that? Did anyone get into problem? Did anyone have an issue trying to install Eclipse, or you're all trying it on Replit? It will be good to have Eclipse also, because in case you don't have access to internet, it will be good to have the Eclipse in working conditions. So just try to install the Eclipse. Sorry, Samit?
Yeah, ma'am. I actually load this VS Code. So
VS Code, okay.
Do I need to load the Eclipse again?
No. One of these offline editors, that's it. What I'm saying is, like, if you don't have access to internet or something, no, and you want to try out some problems, it's always good to have a local editor. So Replit is like, only when you have internet access, right? So, I mean, it's always good to have some local editor is what I mean. VS Code is enough. Right?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I guess we can wind up the session. If no one else has any doubts on it, we'll wind up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you for this very interactive session. Yeah, it actually helps us also to learn and think about a lot of new things. So just keep staying so interactive. It's very helpful for us also. Okay. And yeah, just let us know, like, what are the things you are expecting from the live sessions and discourse and other things. So that will kind of help us.
Since we have this programming also, will this Saturday class some program will be there, or is it same way?
In the future, programming sessions is what you're asking for Saturday?
Yes, that's what I am asking, because now we
Okay,
have.
so yeah, I mean, we didn't do it like last time. We have not done it like this time. We can try it out. No issues. So you mean like we create a project and replicate and share with you, and we it's like an interactive programming is what you mean, is it?
Or else like I mean the Python or the system command that I have in
Live coding, is it?
Yeah, live coding session.
Okay. We'll plan something. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah.